So Newcastle United have decided to release a statement which explains their summer transfer window policy and why we've only signed the one player. So we'll have a look at the statement, we'll go through it, we'll discuss it and see what we all think. This is the Toon Review. Hi everybody, I'm Paul, back again with another video, and this afternoon Newcastle United have released a statement, as I said in the intro there, just explaining their summer transfer window policy. It's been met with a lot of confusion, a lot of anger, I think, and a lot of disdain, because it really, for me, just sums up what a club we are. It doesn't explain where the money's gone. It just explains that we have, one pot here for one thing and one pot for another. But the money we make from the, being in the Premier League, etc., TV money, it still doesn't add up to me at all. But let's have a look at that. Now, I am reading off my mobile phone as well, so I do apologise if I keep looking down. It says, Newcastle United would like to provide supporters with an update in relation to the approach taken to the summer 2021 transfer window. Our commitment to being run in a sustainable manner which secures the financial viability of the club is a long-standing one. This does not come at the expense of being ambitious, and it is built on the core principle that we will spend what we have. Now, in that opening paragraph, the word ambitious is used. That is not a word that has been associated with Newcastle United now for a good few years, an absolute good few years, and it kind of pisses me off, that one, straight away, because, using the word ambition and Newcastle United within the same sort of opening paragraph to a statement is a load of shit, because this club, as we know, has zero ambition. It's been proved time in, time out over the years that this club has none, apart from just being able to survive in the Premier League. We all know that. So I take that opening paragraph with simply a pinch of salt. The cash generated each year through match day and non-match day activities, plus any transfer fees received from player sales, determines how much is available to spend. This relates not only to first team play and squad expenditure, but to all other areas of the club. In simple terms, there is one pot of money, and spending in one area reduces the amount available for others. In a normal year, our operating model would generate sufficient funds to enable us to make one or two quality first team additions, as well as investing in other areas. This approach takes time and requires careful management and long-term planning, ensuring that we spend the money we generate wisely to benefit the club. Now, basically, what they're saying there is that there is obviously other things at the club that need money spent on. So where has the money spent on the training ground? That is run down. It looks like a primary school entrance. It is absolute doss hole, to say the least, for a Premier League training ground. We all know that as fans. God knows what the players think of the training ground, because it is a shambles. So why hasn't any money been spent on the training ground? The upkeep of St James's Park. We finally seen somebody on the roof of the Gallagher during this week actually cleaning it up a little bit and repainting it. But why has it taken so long? They talk about a normal year. So they're obviously talking about COVID. Okay? Yes, that's 1 year. That is 1 year out of the rest of them that have been totally disregarded by the ownership of this football club. Not a penny has been spent on training ground. Ice baths in feckin' wheelie bins and stuff like that. Come on. Are we really supposed to believe that? I mean, the approach takes time. Mike Ashley's been at the club for 15 years and not spent a penny on the training ground. All he's spent money on is advertising his business around the football ground, on the roof, on the sides, everywhere. So is that what he's talking about by money invested into the club? Jesus wept. It goes on to say the last 2 years have been challenging, with COVID-19 having a considerable impact on the club's finances, and therefore the amount of cash we have available to spend. Internally, all parties have long been aware of the budgetary parameters under which we are operating. Ahead of the summer transfer window and having made a significant impact after arriving on loan in January 2021, Joe Willock was identified as the club's primary target. Now, we know that. However, we all know that Newcastle United wanted Joe Willock back on loan. He was a primary target for another loan signing, not a permanent signing. So the £25 million suddenly became available when we actually were told, or there was rumours going around in the summer, that it was a £10 million budget that Steve Bruce had. Yet suddenly we make viable to him 25 million, there you go. Because Arsenal don't want to loan out Joe Willock again. They want a permanent deal. We're going to have to do something. So there it is. The money's there. It's a joke. It's an absolute joke. I mean, how are we as supporters supposed to take this? So it goes on and says, once it was confirmed that the player would be available on a permanent deal, a collaborative decision was taken to pursue this option. All parties were aware as to the implications for further squad consolidation, with the collective view being that securing Joe Willock was the right priority. There was a shared understanding that further additions to the playing squad would be heavily influenced by player trading, both in terms of available funds and space in the squad. The deal to bring Joe Willock to the club was formally completed on Friday the 13th of August, and we are beyond delighted to have secured him. Our preference to pay transfer fees up front rather than spreading payments over several years is well documented. We believe this approach to be in the club's long-term interests, giving the club far greater certainty and control over its spending in future windows and seasons. Now again, future windows and seasons. What have we exactly seen under Mike Ashley that would give us the hope that anything is going to happen in future windows? You know, we've seen previous windows. We spent £40 million on Joe Linton. 40 million quid. I mean, that money, to be honest, I'd rather we didn't buy Joe Linton and that money was spent on the training ground. You know, give the players a real state-of-the-art training ground to come into every day. And for players who haven't signed for the club yet to come before they've signed and view what fantastic facilities Newcastle United has to offer. Not the pile of shite that they've got at the minute. Come to the training ground. There's a fucking lollipop lady on the outside the ground because it looks like a school. It's pathetic. So what they're saying here is just, it baffles me. It absolutely baffles me, because in 1 minute they're saying there's a pot of money for this and a pot of money for that, but then they're talking about future transfer windows. How about the talk about what's right in front of them at the minute? You know, the thing is about the money as well. They've let so many players go and leave the club this summer. Now, the wage budget, magnificently freed up. No doubt about it. So there's plenty of money there, surely in a wage budget, that we could have got a couple of loan deals in. It doesn't make sense. But this is what we're to expect with Newcastle United now. Things that don't make sense. They put statements out that don't make any sense. It's just to... You know what I think this is? It's just a PR stunt from Newcastle United, because I think they're aware now of the supporter backlash. And they're worried about what's going to happen. There is no doubt about that. They are worried about what is going to happen in the future coming weeks with the supporter unrest. It goes on, in negotiating and securing this deal post-COVID-19, we acknowledge the need to make an exception, and on this occasion, we have spread the transfer fee over instalments. We did so this summer to secure a player who we know makes us stronger and who our head coach was unequivocal in his desire to sign. Since summer 2019, the club has made 9 permanent signings and taken 5 players on loan. Our net spend over this period is 120 million. 160 million spent on players and 40 million received from sales. We have delivered on our commitment to spending what we have, and indeed because of our business this summer, to have spent more to secure our primary target. To suggest otherwise is misleading, and claims that money has been taken out of the club are wholly untrue. Right, that last little bit. Money's been taken out of the club. Right, where the fuck is the money? You know, it still doesn't explain to me where all the money's gone over the years. Where Mike Ashley has put all this money. Now, the talk about transfer fees there, since summer 2019, which ones have exactly been a success, which ones have been in the under-23s, and which ones have just been cast away again? Have we had any players come through from 2019? Not that I can remember. We've pretty much got the same fucking team. So what is that all about? You know, it's misleading us, completely misleading us. But I tell you something, you know, the fans aren't stupid. We know what's going on here. We're not stupid. And it's just to try and quash any potential disruption or protesting from the fans, because it just doesn't make sense. You know, 9 permanent signings since 2019. I'm struggling to think who they are. You know, let's be honest here. Who the fuck are they? Because we've had the same team for months and years now. Without any substantial investment. Joe Linton was 40 million quid of that money they're talking about there. It's not right. It just isn't right. For context, this summer, Sky Sports reported that Newcastle United's net spend was the 10th highest in the Premier League. The club retained its best players despite the obvious financial challenges. Having finished last season in 12th place in the Premier League and in the top 6 of the form table over the final 9 fixtures, the club at all levels maintains a strong belief in its current squad. We have a talented and committed group of players who have shown that they are fully capable of delivering, and we ask all our loyal supporters to get behind their team, because we are stronger together. Now, they're trying to bring everyone together here, you know, but it's too late in my opinion, because this should have been done a long, long time ago. But the previous statements before that are complete bollocks. You know, asking us to believe that, you know, there's no money, or there's budget in here, there's budget in there. You know, how about not spending 40 million on Joe Linton? You know, who scouted Joe Linton? Where is the explanation for that? Where is the explanation for the amount of money we have spent on Joe Linton? You know, had he been, you know, 8 to 10 million, fair enough. There wouldn't have to be questions asked. But there is questions asked when we pay a fee like that for somebody like Joe Linton, who is not a £40 million player in the slightest. In the slightest. I mean, I don't get the statement full stop. I don't. And a lot of Newcastle fans will not have the wool pulled over their eyes by this. It won't settle down the Newcastle United fans. It will probably only enrage them even more. If I'm openly honest, I mean, I read the statement and I'm thinking, friggin' hell, you know, this is just typical of Newcastle United. You know, treat the fans like absolute mushrooms. Keep them in the dark, feed them shit, and, you know, nothing's really changed for me with that statement. If anything else, I'm more baffled by the statement than I am encouraged by it. You know, they talk about ambition at the start. Where has this club ever shown ambition in the last few years? It hasn't. It hasn't really shown any ambition under Mike Ashley, to be honest. So, you know, I mean, does it inspire you? You know, that's a question I put out there to you guys. Does it inspire you? Does it make you think, all right, yeah, fair enough. That gives us answers that we were waiting for. Because for me, it doesn't. It doesn't give me any answers as to what we've been waiting for. In the slightest. You know, if anything, it's trying to brush everything under the carpet, in my opinion. You know, I'm pleased in a way that they've come out and give a statement at last. You know, we've heard something from the club. But who has written this statement? Is it from Ashley? Is it from Charnley? Who is it from? You know, because it just says a club statement. And again, who is it from? You know, it's nice to have a bit of communication from the club, granted. But when that communication reads like it does, it's just mind-boggling. Because it's trying to sweep everything under the carpet because they're worried about what's going to come from the fans. It's blatantly obvious in that statement. You know, when it says about, you know, stronger together and all of this. You know, we're stronger together if we have a team that is performing, a manager that knows what he's doing, and an owner that gives a shit. And an owner that actually does have ambition. But we don't have that. So I'm completely baffled by this statement, if I'm honest. Let me know in the comments what you think about the statement. You know, does it, you know, is it something that you can say, all right, yep, fair enough? Or are you baffled by it as well? Do you think it's just something to kind of sweep everything under the carpet and try and quell the anger that's in the fans at the minute about the transfer window and the lack of investment in the team? Because it talks about investing in other places. There's been no investment in the football stadium. There's been no investment in the training ground. So where the fuck's the investment gone? It still doesn't make sense to me. But like I say, have your comments down below. Let's have a conversation about it. See what you guys think of the statement. I think it's totally bewildering, to be honest. Yes, it's nice they've come out and said something, but it's just confusing everybody, to be quite frank. But if you have enjoyed the video, guys, as usual, please do smash the like button. Help me build the channel. It's really grown the channel in recent weeks, so thank you very much for that. If you are new here and you enjoy what you've seen and you've had a look around the channel, please do consider subscribing. And if you've come back again and you haven't yet subscribed, please also hit that subscribe button. But in the meantime, guys, have a fab weekend. Take care, and how are the lads?
Be strong.